not just quarterbacks, have conversations with the front office to a degree about players that potentially could help you win, whether they're from the outside or retaining your own players. They're going to come to you and have those conversations with you. Now, whether or not they take your opinion and value it to the point where they're actually is going to sign somebody based on what you said, that's a different situation. But it's all about the lines of communication. Bill Parcells always, at the end of the year, came to me about specific receivers and even to a degree, a player or two that I may have gone up against on defense to ask me what I thought about situations. Rich
Would
McKay.
you always tell him the truth, Key? Or would you ever try to look out for somebody?
Well, I would look out for dudes that I might have played with, and I know, depending on what the level is, right, Max? Because everybody is not – we're not talking about everybody being stars. You know, you can have the third or the fourth receiver, a guy who clearly helps us on special teams, and he may say, hey, what do you think about Terrence Cooper? And I may say – Terrence Copper. And I may say – man, yeah, he's really good on special teams. And, yeah, he gives us what we're looking for, the third or fourth receiver spot. Why would we let him go? That's just to reassure and reconfirm what they may already think.
But you're not making
about
stuff
that
up, in
particular
other
player.
words. Right, got it.
No, you're not doing that. And then if there's somebody from your college that you may have played with that they like, and they come to you and ask you, what do you think? Is he a good guy? Does he drink? Does he smoke? Is it somebody that can play in our locker room? Coach, man, will you just sign the dude? And so you have those type of conversations. Everybody that they like that is considered a franchise player at their position got some say.
See, Key, for me, this is easy, man. This is you learn from other people's successes and mistakes. So let's review a couple, and I'll give you one example on both ends. So we had the situation that happened with Russell Wilson in Seattle, right, about not having a say. Now, it may be too much say for some people. I'm not saying these scenarios are exactly the same, but okay, like you want to give your quarterback input and a seat at the table so he can be heard, so you can factor into that your own decision-making process, right? So that's one example on the mistake side, because that's panning out to be in a weird way, and we don't know if Russell Wilson will stay as a Seattle Seahawk. On the success side, let's go to Cincinnati. I mean, you gave a rookie coming off an ACL injury a seat at the table and saying, all right, got this draft pick coming up. What do we want to do? Like, what's your input? Do you like Penei Sewell or do you like Jamar Chase? Now, they took his input. They applied it. Jamar Chase, look at the season that they've had. So why wouldn't you listen to a guy like Dak Prescott and get his input on what he wants to do?
Key, when you say it's not just quarterbacks, I appreciate that, because if you're a GM, you want all the pertinent information you can get, and from reliable sources, right? Like strong info, not weak info. And then you make a decision. So the information that person gives you may not be decisive. It may not be the thing that tips it in that direction, but it's part of the information that you're taking in to make a decision.
When we went through, I remember we went through a coaching change in Tampa Bay, and we, Coach Dungy was out, his staff was out, and they were gonna hire John Gruden. First, they were gonna bring in Bill. And then Bill decided to not do it. And then they went out and got Gruden. But they needed to build the offensive staff. And I remember Rich McKay calling me and asking me, what did I want to do at the receiver position as a coach? And one of the names that I gave him was Richard Mann, because Richard Mann coached me with the New York Jets. And Richard Mann was one of the top 4 to 5 wide receiver coaches in the NFL. And I was like, man, we need to go get Richard Mann. He's available. Let's go grab him. Guess what? They wind up hiring Richard Mann. Now, did they hire Richard Mann because of me, or was he on the list? And then I just reconfirmed what they already thought about and knew.
It was a piece of valuable information that helped them make an informed decision. Now, that's one bucket, as you would say, Key. Let's put that in one bucket. In another bucket is the quarterback ego and how much power these guys have relative to stars and relative to NBA stars, okay? Because NBA stars call shots, obviously. And if people try to push against it, even in the middle of the contract, Harden's like, all right, great, I'm not going to play. Okay, so you will trade me, and you will trade me to precisely where I say, right? Oh, I want this guy, you're going to get me that guy. Aaron Rodgers was disrespected by the Green Bay front office to the point where he's like, okay, watch this. You're not going to decide the end of my Green Bay career. I will make that choice.
Well,
And
that only happened, though, Max, because they did communicate with him. If they would have
100%.
communicated with him, they would have had an issue.
Then it could have been smooth. But so no question. But there's also the question as to how good is your quarterback and how much power do you want to give him within the organization? Doesn't mean he gets to call every shot. Sometimes you're going to say no, but it does mean that he has more influence in what he says. In other words, not just, hey, let me give you this information, but knock, knock, I really think we ought to do this. And then you really got to consider that. That's what Aaron Rodgers seems to have in Green Bay right now. Should Dak have that in Dallas?
I think he should have that in Dallas. I think he should to a degree.
To a degree.
We're paying him $160 million, Max, over 4 years. Do the math. If we're giving him that type of money at $40 million a year, he can have all the damn say he wants. Here's the issue. What you tell me, you better be right. Because if I listen to you and you're wrong, it's going to fall on you.
That's interesting. So now Dak is at the level based on the contract and his level of play where, he can do that, but you better be hitting on these calls that you're making.
But you guys are missing one big caveat, though, because in Green Bay, there's no team owner. But in Dallas, you have Jerry Jones.
That's a great point.
That's a huge caveat, right? So, the clout might be there to a degree, like he said.
But it's the opposite.
But,
it's the
at the end of the
opposite.
day, Jerry Jones is making that decision.
There's one giant ego versus a whole, bunch of different voices. I appreciate, Key, what you said. Dak is up to the part where, okay, you get a shot.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.